Hey everyone, it's Matt here. So today I'm going to give you 7 tips on how to improve your Counter-Strike game performance. One of the most important aspects of becoming a great Counter-Strike player is developing your aim. Since I started playing Counter-Strike a little over 6 months ago, I have gathered the data from my community. These are the exact same steps that all the pros use. And in this video, I'll share the exact steps I follow to keep improving. So whether you're getting results from your current routine or struggling to climb out of your ELO rack, I'll provide you with the necessary tools to reach your true potential. The first step you need to make is redesign your training routine. The problem with most people's training routine is that it really doesn't exist or doesn't cover all aspects of aiming, like raw aim tracking, counter strafing, counter control. And if your training routine does have all these things, how much effort are you actually putting into your routine, and how long are you doing it for, and how consistent throughout the week, month, or season are you? The best way to approach having a sound training routine is to cover all these things and remain consistent with it. The exact routine I did was this: 50 bots standing completely still, 50 bots counter strafing, and practicing recoil control on 50 bots using the AK and the AR. After that, I would do about 30 minutes of deathmatch. I know this sounds like a lot, and to be honest, when I first started doing it, it felt very boring, but eventually I got used to the grind and even started to enjoy it. I did this exact routine before and while streaming. Your routine doesn't have to be exactly like mine, but like I said, it's important that your routine, you cover all aspects of aiming and you remain consistent with it. The second step is to adjust your physical and mental condition. The best advice I can give anyone is to not play Counter-Strike when you're not in the best condition to play. Your mental and physical health should always have priority over Counter-Strike. Some players will entirely lose sight of this, and their in-game performance isn't the only place it shows. It can also have permanent effects on your personal life. How I see it is, if I'm not hydrated, rested, or haven't taken care of my personal responsibilities, then I won't boot up Counter-Strike, and you should do the same. Step 3 is to optimize your setup. This could be a number of things, such as your EDPI, the mouse and keyboard you're using, the mouse pad, or even the chair you're sitting in. Everyone's setup is going to be a little bit different, and it should be entirely tailored to the person using it. But for myself, I personally use an EDPI of 700. I use a glorious mouse and keyboard, and I use a mouse pad that spans the entire width of my desk. I have more of a palm grip, and I also use an LG gaming monitor with 144 hertz. Whatever your setup is, it's important that if something is bothering you, that you address it. Staying comfortable is very key to having good performance. Step 4 involves analyzing your mechanical shortcomings. In order to start doing this, you need to start watching your own demos. One thing that has absolutely helped my game sense was watching my demos, but another way they can be useful is to take a close look at why you're not getting kills in certain situations. What core aiming fundamentals do you need to focus on? Are you consistently over-flicking targets? Are you unable to track someone when they appear on your screen? Or are you failing to make accurate macro adjustments? When necessary, all these things can be easily found by just watching a few rounds in a demo and then slowing it down when you see someone. Watch it over a few times and really think about how you can eliminate this weakness from your game. The biggest issue I ever identified with myself was moving too fast and not checking corners. The best way I found to get better at this was to practice the pre-fire maps to get a good sense of the known spots that all people sit in. Step number 5 is you really need to understand the importance of crosshair placement. I know it sounds really obvious, but the reason why is because it's seriously the most important aspects of Counter-Strike. Even if you were the best aimer in the world, if you consistently put yourself in bad situations with your crosshair, then you'll never become a consistent player. And players with significantly worse aim than you will always have the upper hand. This is the reason why when you train your aim nonstop just to get rolled by players that you know have the worst aim than you. Pre-fire workshop maps are a really good way to practice crosshair placement. When you peek corners, test yourself on how accurate your crosshair placement is. This is something I did regularly and something that I still do during warm-ups. Step number 6 is to develop confidence. This idea of confidence is really an elusive feeling for some players, and it is something that will every now and then escape me. And when it does, my ability to not only aim, but to play smart Counter-Strike just goes out the window. When I first started to gain confidence was shortly after I started my training routine. Just the idea that I'm likely putting more time in and effort into becoming a better Counter-Strike player than anyone in my lobby was enough for me to feel optimistic about my performance. And as time went on, the more hours I put into my mechanics, the more confident I become. However, when confidence does escape me, the best way I can recapture it is by either training or watching VODs or pro players. Seeing what good Counter-Strike looks like and knowing that my training does pay off is usually enough for me to feel good about myself again. Now, I already know a lot of people are going to be displeased with this last step, but the honest truth is having better aim in Counter-Strike comes down to how much you play. There is no denying that the more you have the mouse in your hand, the better your aiming will be. There's a reason that the best players in the world have more than tens of thousands of hours, and that reason is that reps will always be the best way to get better, and that applies for literally anything. So if you take the steps I laid out in front of you seriously, then the amount of time you will need to achieve similar aim to that of pros will be remarkably less. Also, just because that last step is essentially play the game more doesn't take away from step number 2. Please just take care of your mental health and don't overdo it. Well, that's all I got. And before I close out, I just want to say if you have any other tips or if these have helped you, let me know in the comments below. And also like and subscribe to the channel. It is free and the best way to support me. I usually play with someone, so if you want to queue up, come join my live streams almost daily at 8 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Thanks, and we'll catch you on the next one.